Mental health is just as important for us children as it is for adults. That is why we spoke to the experts from the Children's Institute at UCT about their contribution to the 2022 Child Gauge on Child and Adolescent Mental Health. Stay tuned for educational entertainment right now on RX Radio.
Why is it important to focus on bettering mental health service for children?
Leila, one of the main reasons why it's so important is because of the big need. It is very common. So child and adolescent mental disorders are very common in South Africa and worldwide. When we look at the numbers around the world, we see that there is a big need. There are a lot of children who are struggling with these issues, and there isn't enough care available for them. So we need to try and make sure that we improve the health services or the mental health services so that they can get the help that they need and so that they can live the best life that they can. So we want to change them from just making it through the day and going day by day to actually excelling and thriving in their lives.
What is the treatment gap in mental health?
So when we talk about the treatment gap, usually we're talking about the gap or the difference between the amount of people that have a problem, in this case, mental health disorders or mental disorders, and the amount of resources or the amount of care that's available for them to get access to. So in South Africa, that gap is 90% for children and adolescents with mental disorders, which means that out of 10 kids that have a mental disorder, only one of them is able to get the treatment that they need. So that's quite a huge problem, and that's what we're facing today. We just don't have enough people to see all the children that need help, and we also don't have enough of every type of professional. So for example, even though children have access to medication, they might not have access to a psychologist who can give them a talking therapy, so help them to work through whatever is going on with them through talking and through getting to the root of the problem. They might not have access to an occupational therapist who can help them with their function in their daily life. We don't have all the types of services that we should have available to them, especially at the primary care level, and that's clinics, that's community health centers, and sometimes also district hospitals.
How can we improve the mental health service for children?
We need to make sure that we have that full complement of services, but we also need to make sure that that's available at each level of care. So it shouldn't be that it's only at a Red Cross or a Tygerberg or the hospitals in the cities that people are able to access care or children are able to access care, but they should be able to get that care close to where they live, and they should be able to access increasing amount of care depending on how severe their problem is. So we need to make sure that we really strengthen what's happening at the primary care level, so at clinics and at CHCs, so that when they go there, they are able to be identified and treated properly. One of the main problems is also that the children and the adolescents or teenagers are not actually coming to the clinics because they don't know that they've got a problem. Maybe they're struggling, but they don't know why they're struggling. So the people that have regular access to children, so that would be from their parents all the way to teachers, the leaders at their religious organizations, all those people who have regular access to them and regularly interact with children need to be equipped to identify when there's a problem with the child and when they need help or additional support. And the same with the children and the adolescents, we need to try and equip them as well with knowing when they need to seek help.
What would the future with great mental health service look like?
If we just think of the fact that more than half of mental disorders in adults are actually starting before the age of 14. That tells us a lot about if we can try and help early and intervene early so that children have some of the tools that they need, we'd actually have a big impact on adults and on South Africa in general. So I think a future with great mental health services is one that has improved numbers in terms of the gender-based violence that we're seeing in our country, improved numbers in terms of poverty, because mental disorders or problems with your mental health impacts everything in your life. So it impacts families, it impacts your education, it impacts your ability to work or function later on as an adult. And these are all things that we can strengthen if we can strengthen mental health services, especially from a young age. So we're looking at healthier families, we're looking at improved education, we're looking at people who are able to contribute to the economy and to be able to thrive within the economy as adults. So it looks like a brighter future to me, and I'm really hoping that we can tackle this problem.
Is there anything else you would like to say?
Just that one of the strategies that we suggested to do this in the child gauge was just to try and decentralize child and adolescent mental health. So child and adolescent psychiatry is currently a subspecialty, which means that there's psychiatry, and then as a portion of psychiatry is child and adolescent psychiatry. And that's not really a great place for it, given the fact that there's such a huge need or such a huge burden of children and adolescents and infants who actually need care. So one of the things that we are really pushing for is for it to become a speciality instead, so that it's able to get the resources and the attention that it needs at the district level or the lower levels of care where the most children would benefit, rather than having it sit at a specialist or super specialist place where only very few get excellent services. Let's rather make it something that's across the board at a lower level of care. Yeah, but thank you. I don't think I have anything else to say. Leila, you did such a great job.
Thank you, Dr. Simphiwe, for the interview.
Thank you for listening to this interview on 2022 Child Gauge on child and adolescent mental health. We hope that you learned something new about the importance of taking care of our mental health. This was put together by Oryx Radio, a radio station by and for children at Red Cross War Memorial Children's Hospital. If you'd like to find out more about the Child Gauge interviews, visit our YouTube channel or head over to the Children's Institute website at www.ci.uct.ac.za. That's www.ci.uct.ac.za. Oryx Radio by and for children.